Bang?
Yeah, the Kalo. Bang on it.
You don't want to hear it, right? Jesse, say something.
I can hear me, but not anymore.
Yeah, I don't know why.
That's that. Speaker. Try it now.
Hello.
Perfect. Okay. So, Yael, why don't you start with OZ?
Will I still be able to hear Jesse?
What?
Will I still hear Jesse?
No. But that's fine. I can turn it off. You won't hear you. You'll only hear Jesse.
Oh, that's fine. I thought you were like, did you want to hear yourself? I don't want to hear myself.
I turn off my video, so I can't see you.
Wow.
Hi, Smiley.
almost dropped something. Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and welcome to Anshe Chesed's Friday evening service. And it's wonderful to be together with people who are not only part of our congregational family, but family in the larger sense of the Jewish people from all over. And if you are joining us with our YouTube live stream, please jump in and send a Shabbat greeting in our chat box so we can at least exchange some Shabbat love in that way. And we will begin as we close this final day of Hanukkah and welcome Shabbat as we light our Shabbat candles on page 2.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom. And we continue together on page 10 with Mayafeh Hayom, how beautiful this day is. Or no, Jesse, are we doing Hine Matov? Or what are we doing? I'm confused. What are we doing?
Yeah, I'll do my effect.
Sure.
Okay.
Maya Hayom Shabbat Shalom Maya Hayom Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom. Maya Hayom, Shabbat, Shalom. Maya Hayom, Shabbat, Shalom.
And as we welcome Shabbat, we turn to page 20 as we join in Lecha Dodi. And we turn over to page 22 as you join in Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat. Sing a song, a special song for Shabbat.
Can you hear me? Okay. Because I can hear you. Like through your computer.
Okay, we're gonna try to fix some of the sound issues. I think we'll try to get Jesse's sound a little bit better. We're working on it. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but we'll persevere, and we'll turn to page 24 as we join in Shalom Aleichem, those words of welcome, those words of connecting with each other. And maybe while Jesse's working on that, Yael can jump in with Shalom Aleichem. How's that? And that will give Jesse a chance to work on that sound.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Tetzchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu.
And we turn together to page 26 for Chatzi Kaddish.
Can you hear me? Yitkada Shnei Rabba, Ve'amadi Barachitei, Ve'amich B'chayecha, U'yamecha, U'chayecha Beit Yisrael.
And we continue on the following page, page 28, with Baruch Hu. And on the following page, we join in Ma'ariv Aravim. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Asher Bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim, B'chokhma Poteach Sha'arim, Uvitvuna Meshane Itim, U'machalif Et Hazmanim, U'mesader Et HaKochavim, B'mishmerotehem Barakia Kirtzono. Borei Yom V'Layla Golel Or Mipnei Choshech V'Choshech Mipnei Or. Uma'avir Yom Umevi Laila, Umavdil Ben Yom Uvein Laila, Adonai Tzivaot Shemo. El Chai V'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Leolam Va'ed, Baruch Ata Adonai, HaMa'ariv Aravim. Everlasting love you have offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws, and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me, did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch Ata Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. We join in Shema, page 34. Page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is essentially, eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. There is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will.
Hashkivenu
page 45. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. Vishamru, page 44.
Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם בברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open our lips, that our mouths may declare your praise. Page 46.
Adonai sfatai tiftach, ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai sfatai tiftach, ufi agid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei Vneihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Hakol atah Rav Lehoshia. Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayei Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verafeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Bal Geverot, Umidom Melach, Melech Mimit Umechaye Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechaye hakol. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see, wherever we gaze, that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we didn't know it. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God, in whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha u'lecha na'eh lehodot. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace and its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael bashalom.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki Atahu Melech Adon Lecho Hashalom. Ki
we take a few moments and leave aside the texts of our prayer book and look inward to our own prayers, those prayers in our hearts and in our minds, those prayers that are really a way for us to send a message perhaps to ourselves, perhaps to God. So we pause for some moments of silent prayer. We take some time and think of all those who are in need of blessings of healing. And as this coronavirus pandemic spikes and there are so many more people who are ill, it is so important that we gather our energies together and we send that energy of healing out to the world for all those who are in need of healing. Whether it's a healing from the coronavirus, or it's a healing of some other malady, whether it's a healing of the body, the soul, the mind, the heart. In our congregation, we send healing to Joan Harf and Francis Miller, Emily Bostwick, Fran Porras, Carol Love, Nelva Torres, Virginia Imhoff, Judy Bodner, Carol Golbo, Greg Bennett, Sandra French, Michael Brumberger, Sean Brumberger, Richard Sharon, Debbie Perry, Joel Waldman, Peleg Plakowski, Kiri Kunen, Zachary Jackson, Josephine Hulkamp, Holly Arison, Eric Perry, Judith Goldman, Myrna Urkov, Scott Gordon, Diane Marcinkowski, Emma Lou Phillips, Michael Byron, Andrea Kempner Blake, and Bernice Fox. If you have other names that you would like to add and add our blessings of healing to those, please add them into our chat box as we join together on page 253 with our prayer for healing, Misha Berach.
Who bless the ones before us.
Shabbat Shalom. This week we are reading Parshat Miketz from the book of Genesis as we get closer and closer to the end of Genesis, and we are in the midst of the story of Joseph. And Joseph is in Egypt and he's been thrown into jail. Maybe you've seen the play, you know. What? No? Yael's been in the play, 4 or 5 times?
At least.
Yeah. in different roles. So it's a favorite here with our family. But what happens is Joseph is called on by Pharaoh to interpret some dreams and predicts that in fact Egypt will enjoy 7 years of wonderful success and then followed by that 7 years of great challenge. And Joseph devises a plan to conserve resources during the 7 good years to get them through the 7 bad years, and essentially is able to do just that and is placed as second in command for Pharaoh. And while the story is beautiful, it reminds me that you can create something even if you don't have anything. Joseph is absolutely at the lowest rung of society when he's called on by Pharaoh. He's in prison. And yet, through his own ingenuity, he's able to create not only a pathway for himself to reach success, but also, ultimately, this will be how he saves his whole extended family from famine when they have to come looking for some food, and he's able to provide them not only food, but ultimately a place to settle. And it actually reminds me of and because this is around Hanukkah, it reminds me of the great story of Joseph who had an overcoat. And this Joseph, too, was pretty ingenious. And he had a grandfather, and he loved to spend time with his grandfather. And his grandfather was a tailor. And one day his grandfather, for Hanukkah, gave him a beautiful, beautiful coat. Just like Joseph, our ancient biblical ancestors, his father gave him a beautiful coat too. But this Joseph was so excited to receive this coat that he wore it every day. Now, what happens when you wear a coat every day?
It gets worn out.
It gets worn out. And so the sleeves kind of got worn out. And if any of you have ever had a child or ever been one, what happens to clothes when you get them when you're little?
You grow out of them.
You grow out of them. And so slowly Joseph's coat, the sleeves got shorter and shorter and shorter. And his mother said, "Joseph, it's done. It's time. It's finished. It's through. It's time put it away. Throw it out." But Joseph said, "Don't worry. Grandpa can fix it." And so he went to his grandfather and he said, "Grandpa, my coat's too short, the sleeves, and I can't." And his grandfather said, "Don't worry." And he took the coat and he cut and he snipped and he stowed and he stitched and he made a beautiful vest. Well, Joseph was so proud of this vest, he wore the vest every day. And eventually, the vest too wore out. And his mother finally said, "Joseph, it's time. Throw it away. You've got soup stains and schmutz, and it's too small, and it's just time to throw it away." And Joseph said, "Don't worry. Grandpa can fix it." So he brought it to his grandfather, and he said, "Grandpa, can you fix my vest?" And his grandfather said, And he took the vest, and he cut, and he snipped, and he stitched, and he sewed, and he made Joseph a beautiful tie. Well, Joseph was so excited by this beautiful tie that he wore it. How often did he wear it?
All the time.
All the time. Every day. And what happened eventually to that tie?
Got worn out.
It got worn out because it too got stained, and it had all sorts of lunch stains on all things all over it, and it was worn out and it was threadbare. And what did Joseph's mother say? She said, "Joseph, this is it. It's time. You have to throw it away. But Joseph said, don't worry. Grandpa can fix it. And he brought it to his grandfather, and his grandfather took the tie, and he says, "Ay vey, what am I going to do?" And he thought for a moment, and he says, And he cut, and he snipped, and he stitched, and he sewed, and he made Joseph a fabulous button. Well, Joseph was so excited by this button, he wore it every day. And he loved this button. Except one day, he went to put on his shirt and the button wasn't there. And he looked down and it was nowhere to be found. And he couldn't find it. And his mother finally said, finally, we're done with it. It's done. It's finished. Kaput. And Joseph said, wait. Don't worry. I can fix it. And Joseph went to his room. And he took some paper. And he started to write. And he write. And his pen went scratch, 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 scratch all across the paper. And then he was done. And he showed it to his mom. And he said, look, Mom. I made something from that button. She said, Joseph, it's impossible. Even your grandfather couldn't have made anything from that button. The button isn't here. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to be made from it. And Joseph said, I did. I wrote a great story. And here it is. And in the same way that both of our Josephs created something that they could use and something that was meaningful for them, I think that's our job too. Our job on Shabbat and as we have just finished Hanukkah, and as we move forward into a new secular year, a new year that we can kind of almost see the beginnings of the end of this pandemic, we hope and pray, we too can create something from nothing. We too can be innovative. We too can create different ways of connecting with each other. So if you haven't done anything, like that for Hanukkah, I encourage you to think about connecting in a new way with somebody from either temple or an old friend, maybe somebody you haven't had a chance to catch up with in a long time. We want to wish you a Shabbat Shalom. We're going to continue now with Aleinu, and it's not the traditional Aleinu, but it's one that captures the kind of essence of Aleinu. On page 282.
It's up to us to call ourselves to task, to sing what's good and true, to bring about redemption. It's what we were free to do. For what's the point of being here if we're not moved to change our ways? Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise. We are carrying the stories of the ones who came before. What stories will be told of us when we are here no more? We commit ourselves to action. It brings meaning to our days. Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise. It's up to us to own the vision. We are an answer to a call. It's up to us to live the words we speak for the benefit of all. It's up to us to bow down deeply. There's a broken world to raise. Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise. Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise.
Our thoughts turn now to those who have departed this earth. our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and of death. We're in the period of Shloshim for Edna Falk and Phyllis Cohen. And we observe the following yahrzeits on this Shabbat: Rose Strauss, Caroline Gardner, Hyman Parker, Darwin Luntz, Catherine Weiss, Abraham Cooper, Miriam Cohen, Emma Kahn, Barbara Hanauer, Benjamin Kramer, Joseph Kramer, Friedrich Baum, Benjamin Emmerman, Edward Baker, Rebecca Michael, Bertha Cohen, Louis Pollock, James L. Schuster, Shirley Kullback, Meyer Todman, Elaine Bondi Kahn, Minnie Brody, Charles Shapira, Mildred B. West. We take their memories into our hearts as we turn to the words of Kaddish on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ba'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon uvyomechon, uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lameh almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitrumam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudsha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who grants peace in the high and distant heights grant peace for us, for all Israel, for all the world. And we all say, Amen.
Amen.
Services this evening are dedicated to the memory of Louis Pollock, Shirley Kullback, Mildred B. West, and Charles Shapiro. And donations that were made to our Flower Fund will be used to offset the costs of our virtual communications. Tomorrow, for later this evening, right after services, please join us for our Zoom Oneg, and the link is pinned to the very top of the YouTube chat box. You can join us there. Please join us. It's a great way to reconnect and find out how everybody's Hanukkah was. Tomorrow morning, we'll join together for Torah study at 11 a.m. And then Sunday, there are no Gesher classes. And there are a couple of important announcements that I want to share with you and put them up on our screen. Let's see here. So the first one is, if you were not able to take advantage of the Hanukkah t-shirts and you want a Hanukkah t-shirt, we have been very fortunate that the company has agreed to reopen the store, and so you can get one. If you have access to Facebook, you can find the link there. Otherwise, next week in the Shabbat updates, we will send that out to you as well, and so you can get your Hanukkah episode 5781, the one where we socially distance. Okay. In addition, we are doing a Tikkun Olam project. Lisa Tottelman has brought us, which is a great idea, an organization called Kaleidoscope, which provides services to those people with autism, and they have an Amazon wish list set up. You can also find that on our Facebook page, and we'll also send that out next week. So if you have any questions, shoot off an email or give a call, And we're looking forward to seeing everybody at our Zoom Oneg. And I am going to share the words of our closing song. Here we go. Heveinu Shalom Alechem, we bring you peace.
Heveinu Shalom Alechem, Alechem, Heveinu Shalom, Heveinu Shalom Alechem, Alechem, Heveinu Shalom, Hinei ma tovu manayim, shevet achim, kan yachad, Hinei ma tovu manayim, shevet achim, kan yachad, Heveinu Shalom Alechem, Alechem, Heveinu Shalom, Heveinu Shalom Alechem, Alechem, Heveinu, Alechem, Heveinu, Alechem, Heveinu Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We'll see you at the Oneg.